All right, so we're back with Andre Williams. We've been talking quite a bit about your role in Miami Gardens and your heart, but you also have a role you play in another part of Miami-Dade County, and you're bringing some great changes and ideas to the Chamber of Commerce in Miami Beach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I am, and I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm also a member of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, and I believe the world of social entrepreneurism is connected. I believe all those dots connect, Miami Gardens and Miami Beach. And we recently hosted a Super Bowl in Miami Gardens, although most of the events occurred in Miami Beach. So absolutely we can see the synergy there. So I'm a very active member of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce and was just appointed co-chair of their newly formed Diversity and Equity Inclusion Council, which is only one council of 8 in the entire country. And we're specifically focused on creating opportunities for diversity and inclusiveness in businesses, in local governments. So helping to affect change so that they understand diversity adds value and also contributes to the bottom line. So once we educate businesses and local governments about that, I think we can make South Florida a much more congenial place to do business, much more progressive, embracing all cultures and different perspectives in the workplace.
So I hear what you're saying, because what we see in South Florida when we look is a lot of diversity. Mm-hmm. When we just look at the people and the population, especially when people come here on vacation, they're like, oh my goodness, it's so diverse, all these different cultures, I love it. But when we look at the disparity when it comes to employment, when it comes to prosperity, when it comes to those with the opportunity to do business, there seems to be an underrepresentation of the population that actually dominates here in South Florida. And so being part of a Chamber of Commerce like Miami Beach, that is quite popular, and we've got a quite successful people as part of that Chamber of Commerce, if I'm not mistaken. Having them give that attention to that, I think is going to create a lot of opportunity, and is completely in line with everything else you've expressed concerning not only Miami Beach, but Miami Gardens, like you said, yeah? Absolutely.
Miami Gardens is the third largest city in Miami-Dade County, and the largest predominantly African-American city in the state of Florida. So obviously I'm leveraging the Miami Gardens Chamber of Commerce with my work with the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. Because as I said, there's great economic inequality here in South Florida. It's very pronounced in Miami Beach too, because there's a lot of wealth and splendor on the South Beach side of things. In Miami Beach, but on the North Beach side, there are people who are struggling. Tourism drives the Miami Beach economy and drives most of the South Florida economy as well. Right. Well, most of those are low-paying jobs, people living hand-to-mouth, paycheck to paycheck. Yet they're the ones who are underrepresented. In most cases, the people who look like you and me are the ones who occupy those positions. They're overrepresented in the low-income paying positions and underrepresented in, obviously, positions of significance in these companies. So the pitch to them is, well, if your company looks like South Florida and represents South Florida, then you're likely to be able to do more business. You're going to be able to empower and grow your business. And that's the message that I think we can deliver at the Miami Gardens Chamber of Commerce and the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. Beautiful. And I know that's a trend that we're seeing across the country. I know Goldman Sachs just made an announcement that they're no longer going to invest in companies who don't have diverse representation, like a female on their board, or representation of high executive levels of females and diversity, because what they have found is not just that it's popular, not just that it looks good, but what they found is when there is diversity, there's actually a higher level of success and productivity with those companies. And so when we look at what you're doing with not only Miami Gardens, but on the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce with that diversity role, it's not just a handout. It's not just to look good. The results will most likely be, if we follow the trend, that there'll be actually a greater productivity and a greater product given to the customers and the consumers from these businesses. That's absolutely true. There's a direct correlation with your business's bottom line. The more diverse you are, the greater the audience that you can appeal to, the greater your opportunity to grow and empower your business. Wow.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I mean, if you think about it, right, why do Why do immigrants come here? It's not just because of our constitutional rights and our democracy and capitalism, which takes people out of poverty as they take advantage of all the opportunities, but it's ultimately our diversity, right? There's the unity in diversity that
they see a
America
place
has.
for them.
And people don't want to just go somewhere where it's vanilla. They don't want to just go somewhere where it's only, Argentinians. People want to go somewhere where there is tension, there is diversity. 1 minute you're in little Havana, next minute you're in little Haiti, next minute what I would like to see is Miami Gardens being the little Harlem or the little the new what was that city that burned down it was a Black Wall Street. I think it could be the second
Tulsa.
Black Wall Street. In Tulsa, Oklahoma. Why not? Why not? I know you have a vision that is bigger than just Miami Gardens surviving, but what I've heard from you is that you're about it thriving and moving to a next level, because we know that when Black people get involved in things, right, whether it be sports, tennis, science, they are just as capable and effective as any other, because God is not a respecter of race. God sees character, he sees capacity, and he sees people who grind. So any last thoughts on this Miami Beach Chambers, kind of this inclusive message and how it relates to the overall Miami and South Florida population?
So I want to direct people to the Miami Gardens Chamber website, miamigardenschamber.net. You can see our membership opportunities. You can join at a very low level or very high level, but again, you'll have that digital support at your disposal. The Miami Beach Chamber, which I'm also excited about, is launching its diversity and equity inclusion and Council on March 17th. That's a Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Miami Beach Chamber offices in Miami Beach.
Nice.
And we're inviting the community to that launch, and we're going to talk about our mission, our vision, and how we can really, really change the mindset of folks doing business here in South Florida.
And I think that, I know you mentioned that you see a potential partnership, right, where people of color, especially from Miami Gardens, who do business in Miami Beach, there are already people doing business there, right? They got janitorial services, they got businesses there, landscaping businesses, and why not join the chamber and be part of your council and your committee to make sure that the world knows that cities like Miami Beach are serious about inclusion. And that's just not Black people, that's brown people, yellow people, and people from all across the world. So again, thank you.
Thank you for having me.